Okay, guys, today I'll be talking and interviewing my friend Fredrick.
Woo!
What's up, man?
What's up?
Thank you for coming today, man.
Glad to be here.
That's right. So, we're going to be talking about law of attraction and personal development, right?
Yes.
So, can you tell me about your law of attraction experience?
Well, my law of attraction experience started around the same time a lot of people's others, 2012, which has great significance with, some astrological events and the like. Personally, my experience was I liked a girl who I wanted to date, and I was thinking of all the ways to get her. So I was doing research, and all of a sudden I come up with a video that said a law of attraction, and to me it was kind of shocking. I was like, there's an actual law to attracting, a girlfriend or a life partner? And that was when it all started. It was a 20-minute video. It was really profound. I watch it occasionally, the entire length, and I was immediately. At first, it took a while for me to comprehend, and then once I did it, I showed you, and you got hooked onto it as well.
Yeah, I think it's very much it. Yeah, I'm actually grateful for you for that because it changed who I am.
It changed both of us.
Yeah,
It put us on the path. Changed our lives. Yeah.
Right.
We wanted to become better people, better men, better
Right.
husbands,
Right.
better entrepreneurs, and
Right. What's your point of view on our educational system today that you think could need some improvement? What do you think about the educational system in society?
Well, I think education is important in any instance. I'm not going to certainly discount education. That being said, I think that the education system is highly flawed. There's a lot of problems with it, mainly because it's geared to producing cookie cutter workers, as I would like to call it. It doesn't really teach us how to function in the type of world that we live in. It only teaches how to get a certain job, and it doesn't teach us about taxes. It doesn't teach us about finance and all the other things. So that's where I think that education kind of sells its students short.
Yeah, because it's doing business. And you have to think about it. School is actually not actually doing it for your own. It's not doing it for you. It's actually doing it because it's a business.
It's
so.
a business.
Yeah, everything
It's
is.
a business.
What do you think about student loan?
Student loans? I don't have any. That is one thing I do. I sleep good at night knowing I don't have student loans.
Student loans are a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem for many people, but try to avoid them when you can. There's other ways of paying for school.
But you do agree that school isn't the only way to become successful, right?
No way. No way.
Like,
no way. I mean, and that also is pretty subjective to how you view success. I mean, my definition of success could be completely different from yours, or
Correct.
completely different from any of yours. And education, like correlating success to the level of education you've achieved is certainly not something that me or Johnny value.
yeah, that's correct. Because for me, of course, education is valuable in a sense that you know how to apply it in your own life. But it's because, for me, I can be honest with you, because I'm not the type of person. I hate school for what it labeled me as, because I was a special ed student, That's not... Because once you label a student, they tend to act and behave differently than they would,
Yes.
Yeah, so...
And also with, the exams that they give you starting in... I think it was... we grew up in Maryland, and around the 3rd grade was when they started, giving us these standardized testing. And as from that point on, it kind of branded you to a certain level of perceived educational level that you would be. They put all the smart students in the same level math class, and then all the lower level, what they think are lower level students in a lower class, and they just that carried on all the way through middle school and high school, I think.
Right. What do you think about the our Asian culture value school?
They value it greatly, a lot. There's a great emphasis on education system, especially in my culture in the Philippines.
Right.
They make a big deal of, who gets, who scores the highest on their bar exam or their engineering exam or their nursing exam. They have big posters with their picture saying, this person so-and-so got first place or perfect score on their exam. So, and, I hate to say this about my country, but they kind of push the notion that jobs are a scarcity and the only way to get a job would be through education, and at a young age they emphasize, education, especially achieving a higher education degree to, validate the fact that you need a education to get a good job and to be successful.
Right, but in a sense they would lose a sense of self. They would, because they're not doing it for themselves. They're probably doing it for someone's dream. I'm guessing,
yes.
Or not guessing. I know for a fact,
Yes.
because it's dangerous if you play the game of. I like the saying of the late Earl Nightingale. He says, people tend to follow the followers. Like Tal Lopez says, leading the blind.
Right.
But what do you think can be improved upon our current educational system that is currently going?
If anything, I think that the education system should still contain elective classes pertaining to what the interests of the students would be, especially at a young age, where they might be able to expand their talents and what their interests are, because everyone has different values, different interests, and certainly different motivations.
Right.
So
right, definitely.
Definitely, just give the students a little bit more flexibility with the coursework, and certainly educate them on how to personal finance, taxes, estate planning, like all those things that you would have to be dealing with in the real world. I think it would help a lot.
Right. Okay. I hear you. What do you think about? I would say The Matrix, but because basically, I don't know. I know that we all see The Matrix, where they hook you on the computer. I think you remember how they have to obey the, what was it, the state or something, or what was it? What did they have to obey? The people, right? The system.
The system. Yeah. Or was it the agents?
Yeah, the agents.
The agents were to control.
Mm-hmm. See, what would you say about society that you think it could be like need of fixing?
Society that, a lot of things really. I think that the most fundamental change that we can make in society would be to certainly, teach people how to become entrepreneurs and really teach them to be self-independent and self-reliant. You know, you can't depend on a job and a 401k and a social security check by the time you're, 65. You're going to be living a whole lot longer past 65, especially nowadays. So I think that if we have more entrepreneurial type people as opposed to worker production types, then I think we can achieve a true capitalist society, which is, in theory, I don't think it's ever been achieved before at all in history. I don't.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. It's just that don't you agree that there's a whole big difference between, because there's a mindset to it about because there's
not everyone does this.
Yeah,
not everyone
does
this.
It's really small percentage of people who's an entrepreneur, because you have a lot of audacity to do this, because you're gonna get criticized, you're gonna get knocked down by people saying you're crazy to do this.
You have to have a lot of determination, a lot of resourcefulness.
Right, and definitely your why you do the thing you do. But also, isn't there also a difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneur mindset?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Absolutely.
Can you give me the
Absolutely.
example? Sorry.
Well, when you're an employee, it's pretty much like grade school in the sense that, you're told when to come in, when you can leave, when you can use the bathroom, when you can go on vacation, and they're set to have the same days. I mean, you're going to school Monday through Friday, especially in, primary education, and most jobs are set Monday through Friday.
Right.
So, what was your question again?
What was the difference between, that's okay.
Oh, entrepreneur. Okay. Right. So, entrepreneurs, I feel, have vastly different values as opposed to employees. I think that employees want security, a steady paycheck.
Right, correct.
Whereas, entrepreneurs, want to build something, want more of whatever it is that they want, whether it's independence or maximizing their income. And I think that it's a lot of entrepreneurs are a lot more bold.
They definitely are. Type. Yeah, that I do agree with you on that. They're bold. They're, regardless of what people say about them, they change the world. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Nobody want to get it's definitely people who want to fit in. They don't want to get criticized for the thing they wanted to do. So. What would you say that, how can a person make their life better through a sense of self-education, or change their belief system, to change the way how they can change themselves and impact a lot of lives?
I think self-education is probably the greatest way to, self-transformation, personal development. It's certainly limitless what you can do with respect to self-education, and you certainly won't lose out on anything if you do it. If anything, you would gain, a whole new worldview once you start self-educating yourself. And I think that self-education would definitely change your life for the better. You certainly can't go wrong with it.
Right, but you could say that it could impact yourself, and not only yourself, you could impact your
impact
families,
impact yourself, your family, your friends, other people.
Right. Sometimes what can a person do to get out their situation that they're in, whether their job that they don't hate, don't like, the, their boss. That's why most people become entrepreneur because they hate their boss.
Yeah.
So what do you think they can do that? How can they make their circumstance better?
I think it's pretty simple. You just transmute that desire into action. That's about as simple as you can put it. Obviously, people have obligations and engagements that would not necessarily let them take such drastic action immediately, but every little move counts.
Right.
So, but yeah, just take that desire and just change it to action, positive action.
Were you ever lost in your life before?
Many times.
Really?
Many times, yeah.
Huh, I did not know that. Please explain or tell the story how you were lost.
Well, probably the most notable instance where I was lost was, I just got out of high school and it was my first year of college. And first year of college, well, in high school, I didn't take the SATs. I thought it was a big waste of time.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. I'll tell you in a later video, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
So because I didn't take the SATs and I really had no desire to go to any, public or any university for that matter, I just applied to our local community college, and once I got in there, I took a placement exam, didn't do nearly as good, so they put me in high school level classes while I was in college, and I spent a year. It was like my 11th grade of high school, my first year of college, and at that time I really had no idea what kind of career was chosen for me, and yeah, I felt lost. I never thought about joining the military or anything like that. Certainly not advising against it, but I actually thought I would be a humanitarian and, build houses for people.
Okay. Would you say that but in that time period, have you learned lesson that you saw, like you didn't see but you see it now? Like what lesson did you learn through your college days?
Through my college days, I guess finding your passion would be what I wish I had done, and just going out and experiencing life. I certainly didn't know what it was. A huge shock coming out of high school and then into college. You're given so much freedom all of a sudden. You're also given a lot of privileges, in that, once you turn 18. So I think just experiencing life, and I think it would, a lot of people at that age do it, not necessarily in the best instance, but...
Yeah, I totally agree with you. What most college people do, or student usually, is chase girls, have sex with girls, drink alcohol, do drugs, and party. I get that. You're supposed to, I get that.
I get it too.
Like have fun, but that's when you're supposed to do that when you were a kid. Right. That's for me, because that's what I did. I had fun. I had loads of fun when I was a teenager. I love fun, but I think when we get into personal development, people get stuck on if you have to be serious. I get it. You have to be serious. But if you keep being serious your whole life without any fun, that's not living.
Yes. And also, boys develop a lot later than females. So, at that age, we really, you and me didn't really have much of a drive or a path at that age.
No, I wasn't. I don't know about you, but for me, I was never ambitious about anything. I just wanted to live a simple life. But my ex was really wise. More, as you say, boys are develop later.
Yeah.
So girls develop earlier and they're more mature. So my ex-girlfriend, she told me that life is hard, and she was right. But it's in a sense, it's not hard in the sense we think it's hard because we think about physical labor, but we live in a society about society on knowledge, right? Knowledge on steroids, actually. That one of my favorite motivational speakers says, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. If you do the thing today that others won't do, to have the thing that others won't have for tomorrow. That's one of my favorite things to say.
I totally agree.
Les Brown and Brian Tracy. But I believe that if you will, if you're on your deathbed, let's say if you're on your deathbed, would you do the thing today that, I kind of chopped it up, but if you're on your deathbed right now, what would you say to your younger self?
To my younger self.
I know it's a little bit hard to, imagine, but
just take risks and, above all, show no fear.
Right.
Stand up tall, and whatever happens, happens.
But speaking of fear, so many of us live in fear. How can we respond to these circumstances as fear?
Well, fear is just false evidence appearing real.
Right.
You've heard that numerous times, and I certainly, have instances several times a day where there is fear, and I think that the best way to overcome that fear is just think of the positive implications of what you're about to do. Don't think so negatively. Just think of, how is this going to make it better for me? And once you do that, and just take the risk, and if you fail, just accept it and take it as a lesson. You certainly can't go wrong with not trying.
Right. Yeah, I guess because we've been so conditioned as kids to believe that failures is, failure is bad. One time I was listening to a lady, and she talking about your brother shouldn't fail as much because I told him he should fail a lot. That's one of my favorite author, Brian Tracy, said you should fail fast, fail forward, so you can make mistakes and you learn from them, but otherwise. So, but it does feel real when it's fear, right? Does it feel like in your body? Does it feel real?
Yes, it can be. It can be.
What do you think about the news?
The news, it's always negative. Doesn't always show all the good things going on in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things that people do, right?
Yes.
And I want this video to actually have an impact to those who are watching this, It's better because the people you surround with, I believe that who you ever hang around with, either that's why your parents usually say, that don't hang around with, because usually if you understand that who you ever hang around with will influence your decision making and judgment,
yes.
Right? Like, how do you select your friends?
Well, a lot of the people I hung out with 5 years ago, or especially 10 years ago, is no longer, we're still friendly, but we're not as close as we once were. I would select my friends purely on if we share the same values, the same drive, the same motivation, and friends are not bad to have. I love friends.
Yeah, they're not. Well, they said you need people to succeed. You can't do it on your own.
No,
Most people
no
try
way.
to. Yeah.
No way.
Because we live in an interdependent.
Yes. Yes.
And people think that they can make it on their own. No,
No.
you need each other. You can't have the other way.
Yes.
So I would like to ask you an example that you can give me of how the law of attraction you actually attract into your life. Like, just give like a scenario or like a that you experience. Like how did it happen?
Well, I was trying to get into this program, a medical program, and I set my mind to it. Always, I thought about it constantly. One thing I did was, face myself in a bathroom mirror at my job and, screaming, looking at myself in the own eye and screaming at myself, you're gonna get this job, you're gonna get it, you're gonna be so happy when you get it, you've already gotten it, it is yours for the taking. And surely enough, I got accepted, and it was just one instance where the law of attraction can work. Sometimes the law of attraction, you can you can say something will happen to you tomorrow, and it could very well be the case. It's a great mystery of how these things happen.
Yeah, I remember I was thinking of someone, because I know her. She usually always, I guess you could say she's almost like family. And I was thinking of her, and then in the morning, I actually saw her in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Law of attraction.
Instant.
But sometimes, would you say sometimes it's a little bit, wouldn't say harder, but it'd take a long time, because most people right now, see, this is what I'm trying to do. Most people out there who's learning law of attraction is not getting the result that they want, is because they're thinking about instant result. Instant.
Yes.
But successful people know that in order to be successful, it's the long term, not the short term instant gratification. So you think that the bigger the goal that you have, it take longer, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what do you think about that? I mean, of course, you have short term goals and
yes.
The medium and the long term. What do you think about the long term? Like, how do you view long term? Okay, how about this? Give me an example of short, middle, or it could be middle, but long term. What do you think?
Okay. Well, long term, as you know, there was one thing that I wanted, and I wanted it badly.
Of course.
And I wrote down pages after pages of this. It was a job that I wanted, and I wrote down that I got it. What I was gonna do with it, how I was gonna live my life, and I did a lot of praying as well, and a lot of meditation as well, a lot of facing myself in the mirror and telling myself that I got it, and it unfortunately didn't happen. There's multiple reasons why, and I think that if you have a long-term goal, that you should always stay focused on it, like shooting a bow and arrow. You always eye on the target.
Right. So what you're saying is that your situation may change, but your goal of getting there shouldn't change.
It should not change.
So you're saying it should adapt.
Yes.
Okay. You hear that, guys? Most people get hung up on that it should be this way, but as the law of attraction or whatever the universe is, you may not always get the thing that you want, right?
Right. May not work how you want it to be.
Right, and I'm proud of him for saying that, because most people think that using the law of attraction is everything, but it's not everything. Trust me on this.
Believe me, I was close. I was really close.
Yeah. So how about the short-term goal?
Short-term goal, I could say something to myself like, I want to work an extra shift this week, and I'm going. I feel it, and I say it, and verbalize it, so I'm setting out that intention, and sure enough, more often than not, especially in the past recent weeks, I've had a coworker, tell me they're calling out, or I had my boss telling me that, they need extra help on this day, and, called my phone. Phone started ringing.
Oh, that is cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So, what would you say? Because, it's very interesting how we actually turn out to become.
Yes.
What would you say that the belief that we have now is so drastically different from our old past? What would you say?
Absolutely.
Like, what do you see now that you didn't like? How you saw us now that you saw us? What's the potential in us? Or because I'm trying to prefer that humans have the potential to become more, to become better. So many of us see that we don't have potential, therefore we do not try. So what do you think?
Well, we're a lot older now.
Right.
And wiser.
Mm-hmm.
And we certainly know what our path in life, we're beginning to realize what our life's mission is, and I think both you and I agree that we are not content with living simple, modest lives anymore.
Or average.
Yeah. So I think what changed in us is more, we just want more out of the world, we want more out of life, and we want more experiences, we just want a greater fulfilled existence.
To us, what's meaningful to us, right?
A meaningful existence.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Just discovering our life's purpose.
Have you discovered your life purpose?
I think I have.
You think you have?
I think I have, yeah.
Okay. I would like to say, what makes you happy?
What would make me happy? Having the ability to do or go where I want, when I want, whenever I want.
I see. So what would you say, is it in your mind, is it possible to turn your dreams into a reality? Or turn an idea that you have, or a dream, or a goal, into a reality that you can actually create? What do you say?
Absolutely.
Why you say that?
Absolutely.
Can you
great things have happened, have changed the world just from a simple idea. And all it really takes, and it's a lot easier said than done, is the persistence of turning that idea into a reality. Your line to success is not a straight line, it's a zigzag line, and all sorts of other vectors and what have you. So I think that if you have an idea and you believe in that idea greatly, and you're willing to sacrifice a lot for that idea, for that goal, and you have the stamina and the guile to keep working on it every single day, that it's possible to make it a reality.
I do agree with you that so many of us have this confused, or don't really understand that we think success is like this, right? But what you said is like zigzag, right?
Yeah.
There's basically sometimes we're high and then we dip, right?
Yeah.
And so many obstacle getting in front. How do you deal with your obstacle? Because it's different from fear. Because basically fear is about 95%. Also, obstacle is like in front of you too. So how do you deal with the obstacle that's in front of you?
It's an important skill that everyone has the potential to learn and apply, is resourcefulness.
Right.
I think that if you have some problem, a situation, an obstruction, you just find a way, whether it's a different idea, you read on it, you meditate on it, or you ask other people, other experts, what they think, and just follow what your intuition tells you.
Right. So how can we change our belief system? Speaking of belief system, how can we mold it into shaping who we are? Because I feel like so many of us are letting the past control what we do in the present, therefore it become our future. Because we have all this emotional baggage. How can we, not destroy it, but how can we like mold it into who we want to become?
Well, it's certainly easier to have at a young age to change your belief systems, and I think that if you want to change your belief systems, you gotta start at an early age and say to yourself, I will always learn, I will never stop learning. I actually had a mentor who, at his age, mid-50s, was still learning, still reading. He didn't think he was a know-it-all. He was always, obviously he had some core beliefs in him that, wouldn't change, but how he did things, how he approached his job, he was very methodical and well researched and thought out, and he applied whatever it is he learned that he felt would be beneficial to his job.
Okay. Because once you think you know it all, because I had this once incident before when I thought I was on top of the world, so I thought, because I accomplished a lot of things when I was younger. But I guess nobody saw it as accomplishment. But I thought it was great. At the time, what was it? I got my driver lesson, got a girlfriend, graduated school, but nobody think it was a big. Oh well, one of the person that always interact, her, Miss Mary, she thought of praised me, but when I got off track. But that's not the point. I thought I knew it all. That's where the problem with most people, they think they know it all, therefore they stop learning, especially in college days. Yep. That once they stop college, they tend to not invest in themselves anymore, and they don't strive to become better or learn. Because life is a teacher, and you're the student. So, what would you say that? How can we, how can we become a better person, like learning? Like you said, the person who think they know it or couldn't learn, how can we change that mindset, or could it be changed?
It all depends on the individual, really. It's really hard to, change, for you to change me or me to change you.
Right.
In a manner that would, drastically change our lifestyle. So I think that either, I don't want to say a catastrophic event, not necessarily anything of that magnitude, but some instance or some kind of something happens and life throws you these lessons where you would think, I have to reevaluate myself. What am I doing wrong? Right. What is happening? Why did this happen? You gotta think about, the things that go on in your day, and, that wouldn't apply to a great many of our population, but, that would be something that would, I think would help somebody change their belief system.
Yeah, it's hard because I feel sad sometimes. This is me. I feel sad because for me, I'm different, but we'll get to the next video. Is that when I step out and go my day, and I see that I believe that human beings have the potential. They can become better, but I step out and because I'm not trying to brag or anything. I have a different mindset than who I was. So I step out there. I looked at all these people, and I think like if they have a little bit more knowledge or through personal development, I think they would have a different concept or a belief system.
Yes.
I feel sad, man.
Yes. And we can only push them so much. The only, change comes from within.
Right.
So it's, up to them,
right.
people like you and me who see these things and would wish we could change, we could do something for them, we can only do so much.
Right, as Bob Proctor says, it's not that people resist change. They will change, but they resist being changed. But if they change themselves, they can. But if people push, they won't change. What they say is that it's hard changing people, but it's a full-time changing yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
So
yes.
Today, that'll be it today. And this is all about personal development and law of attraction. Remember, guys, look, you have to take action toward your dreams or goal, whatever. I'm actually grateful for this guy. He's a really amazing friend that I have. He's really supportive.
I'm grateful for him. He's taught me a lot. He's taken this thing and he's taken it above and beyond.
Well, I'm not that great, but I'm trying, man. I'm not trying to do it. That's well, today, that's it, guys. If you like this interview, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it if you think it add value to you or your family. That will be it. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye.